Hello guys again and welcome. I am String from GG2String and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to go over the basic lore behind the Dark Rangers from the Warcraft universe. I really enjoy the Dark Ranger concept, class, whatever you want to call it, because I love like dark manipulatory characters, and I have said and I will continue to say that archers are the best class ever. Plus, no dual blade wielding character ever has not been cool. So let us just get right into the lore. So the basic thing about Dark Rangers is that they are all undead high elves, with the exception of Nathanos Blightcaller, who is the new Forsaken Ranger Hunter teacher. But he is not a high elf, he's a human, but we're going to get more into why that is later. But there's a specific reason that he's the only non-elven ranger, Dark Ranger. But anyways, so let's get into the basics of the Dark Rangers. So for those of you who do not know, High Elves is the name for the Blood Elves, but it was their name when they were allied with the humans, before Arthas came and destroyed Quel'Thalas and their beloved Sunwell, where they draw some of their magic power from. In his conquest, which is known as the Third War, he slew 90% of the High Elven population, so the remaining 90%, I'm not going to get into the math because it's going to be confusing. So anyways, in his conquest he slew 90% of the High Elves, causing the remaining 90% to change their name to Blood Elves, meaning that only 1% of the original High Elven population remain as High Elves, because the Blood Elves do not consider themselves High Elves anymore. So any of those 90% or the remaining 1% High Elves that are Rangers, that die and are revived, can become Dark Rangers. But we will get into more how that works later. So the Dark Rangers themselves began as living members of the Elven Ranger Corps, which was presumably the precursor to the Farstriders that you now see in Blood Elf territories throughout World of Warcraft. But the Elven Ranger Corps, that was led by Ranger General Sylvanas Windrunner, defended Quel'Thalas when Arthas and the Undead Scourge came to destroy the Sunwell, because they wanted to use its energies to resurrect Kel'Thuzad. However, the Elven Ranger Corps and Sylvanas failed. The Undead destroyed Quel'Thalas and the Sunwell and revived Kel'Thuzad. So, the dead Elven Rangers from the Elven Ranger Corps could then be resurrected as Dark Rangers, like Sylvanas Windrunner herself was. So, as far as after the Third War, after Arthas became the Lich King, after that whole Archimonde's defeat and everything that took place in Warcraft 3, in World of Warcraft, Dark Rangers became pretty rare among the Forsaken ranks, especially before the war against the Lich King. But again, as the Lich King, Arthas, destroyed their homeland, trounced all over it, and killed 90% of their population, they, more than anyone else, had reason to reappear, to take their revenge on him. So the reappearance during the war against the Lich King would again foreshadow the fact that Forsakens would be able to have Hunters as a playable class, and now Dark Rangers are commonly seen throughout Forsaken territories, and especially seen around the Banshee Queen Sylvanas Windrunner herself, because Dark Rangers serve as her personal bodyguard and elite agents of the Forsaken. So Dark Rangers are seen participating in the battle for Gilneas with Sylvanas, and amongst other important events, like at her crowning as War Chief, they helped defend her from the demons that were present, and such like that. So let's get into some other knowledge. So Dark Rangers, aesthetically, as I said earlier, they're mostly High Elves, with the exception of Nathanos Blightcaller, so they all look High Elven, except they're undead and they're pale. And then they all wear like sort of leather hunting elven style armor with a hood and a cloak, usually. Their armor is typically colored dark brown, like black, purple, dark blue, dark red, whatever, like sort of undead, dark, corrupted elven themes that you can think of, you'll see on a Dark Elven Ranger. There will be some on screen. Again, if you want to play a Dark Ranger in Skyrim, be sure to check out my previous video. But anyways, some interesting trivial things to note is that Dark Rangers, Clea, Cyndia, and Anya, who can all be found patrolling the Forsaken Undercity in World of Warcraft, all share names with the Dark Ranger hero units from Warcraft 3, because when you pick up the Dark Ranger hero unit, you just get randomized a selection of names. Those names can be Anya Eversong, who matches with Dark Ranger Anya, Clea Deathstranger, who matches with Dark Ranger Clea, and Dark Ranger Cyndia Hawkspear, who matches with Dark Ranger Cyndia. As well as Nera Pathstrider, Anthis Sunbow, Mira Shadewither, Amora Eagle Eye, Siren Ghost Song, and Somond Wayfinder, who don't have named counterparts in World of Warcraft. But something you should notice, like Pathstrider, Sunbow, Eagle Eye, Wayfinder, those are all High Elven sort of last names, and their first names are all High Elven as well in origin. So now that that's out of the way, we're going to now cover the basic abilities of most Dark Rangers. So Dark Rangers are unique in that they are extremely similar to their High Elven counterparts, but they have abilities that are way more dark. Who would have guessed that? Dark Rangers have dark abilities. So instead of focusing on nature energy like the High Elves and Night Elves would, they focus more on like dark and shadowy powers that involve things such as life, death, curses, necromancy, and even mental manipulation. So to quote the Horde's player guide from the Warcraft RPG, they have learned the arts of the shadow and unlearned the arts of the wild. However, other similarities that they share with their elven counterparts is that they do favor bows, even though some have been seen to be using dual blades, and they are still exceptional trackers, even without the powers of the wilds. Something interesting about them being seen using dual blades is that not only hunters and scouts can become Dark Rangers, but rogues can also become Dark Rangers as exceptional assassination agents, stealth agents. So yeah, basic abilities from the Dark Rangers from Warcraft 3 possess are Life Drain, which ties into like the life and death part of their powers, as it's like conveys death onto another and life to themselves, except it's not actually life because they're still dead. They can also Silence, which kind of into curses, sort of, in that they prevent enemy spellcasters from casting spells, pretty obvious. Black Arrow, which is cool because it's a talent for hunters in World of Warcraft, it's not just in Warcraft 3, and many Dark Ranger NPCs can and do use Black Arrow, which is just, it's an arrow that has necromantic powers. It summons a dark minion, which is just a skeleton, in Warcraft 3 at least. And then they also have Charm, which is pretty much just mind control, so it goes back to their powers of mental manipulation, their cunningness, and stuff like that. So those are like the basic, superhuman powers, but the non-magical powers that they have, they're all like exceptional archers, they're all exceptional in combat, they're all exceptional trackers, and stuff like that. So that should about do it for their basic abilities, but we can now get into information about certain specific Dark Rangers. So where else would you begin than with the first Dark Ranger ever created by Arthas Menethil himself, the Lich King, even though he wasn't Lich King at the time, Sylvanas Windrunner. So the obvious stuff that everyone pretty much knows about Sylvanas if you pay any attention to Warcraft is that she's currently War Chief of the Horde, she's leader of the Forsaken, she is the Banshee Queen, the Dark Lady, and she was formerly the Ranger General of Quel'Thulas before the Elven Ranger Corps fell to Arthas. So she was resurrected by Arthas in a really tragic cutscene that I think everyone should see. In that she was impaled by his cursed sword Frostmourne, and she asked him to give her an honorable death as she was an honorable soldier, but he told her for all the pain he caused her running around trying to kill her and the other elven rangers, that he would make her suffer the curse of undeath, making her the first Banshee. And later on, as the Lich King's power and his hold on the Scourge weakened and the Forsaken became a thing, she became the first Dark Ranger. It is at some point, still during the Third War, that she resurrects Dark Ranger Velinara, who is the next person we will discuss. So Dark Ranger Velinara used to be a low-ranking Dark Ranger in service to Sylvanas, but after her success in leading members of the Horde to purge the Scarlet Crusade from Forsaken territory, she was given more opportunities as a Dark Ranger. She was present at Vol'jin's funeral, and she helps to protect the newly crowned War Chief Sylvanas from the demons, as she is also present at True Shot Lodge to represent the Dark Rangers in the Unseen Path. So the third main one, the last main one I should say, on the list is Nathanos Blightcaller, who we talked about at the beginning. So Nathanos is unique in that he is the only undead human to become a Dark Ranger. And that is because he was the first and only human Ranger Lord, meaning he was the first and only human who was trained in the way of the High Elves and incorporated into their ranks as a ranger. And he was second in rank only to Sylvanas Windrunner herself during his time as a human Ranger Lord. So Nathanos Blightcaller is the bodyguard and champion of Sylvanas herself, as well as being the one chosen to train the next generation of Forsaken hunters and rangers. He was also chosen by Sylvanas to participate in a ritual that would make himself stronger at the sack of rice of his own cousin, and he too can be seen protecting Sylvanas from the demons after she is named War Chief at Vol'jin's funeral. And then again, we're going to go into some minor trivial knowledge with the 3 Dark Rangers that I previously stated, the ones that share names with Warcraft 3 heroes. They also play minor roles, but I'm going to go over them again because it's cool. So Dark Ranger Anya, who again shares her name with Anya Eversong from Warcraft 3. She was present at Nathanos' ceremony that was to make him stronger. She takes him to be outfitted after the ceremony and mocks him because she thinks that Sylvanas romantically likes him and he doesn't think so. And she is also present with the Dark Rangers in the relatively new comic, the Windrunner Sisters, where they are revealed to have been waiting to kill the other Windrunner Sisters, her and 4 other Dark Rangers. They were waiting for Sylvanas' call to kill her sisters and raise them, but she never gave that signal, so... Anyways, go ahead and read the comic, it's cool. Dark Ranger Cyndia, who shares her name with Cyndia Hawkspear. She plays a role in convincing the Tauren to heal Silithus. According to Magni Bronzebeard, wishes to heal the land. And the Dark Ranger Clea, who again matches Clea Deathstrider from Warcraft 3. Does the least of the 3, and she just helps attack Proudmoore Academy. So anyways, that should about do it for the basic lore behind Dark Rangers. I mentioned some specific Dark Rangers. Again, if you want me to go more in-depth in the lore, because I definitely can, especially with Sylvanas Windrunner and Nathanos Blightcaller. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if you want that. Go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you liked the video. Please comment down below if you know anything that I missed. But yeah, for now, that's all I have to say. This has been String from my channel at GG2String, telling you about the basic lore behind the Dark Rangers. Thank you so much for watching, and peace.